Assalamu alaikum and welcome once again to Iman Sports, brought to you by Iman TV. We're going to bring you guys sports news like you've never seen before. We're going to be talking about a few different topics today, insight you folks on what's going on in the sports world. A lot of stuff has been happening lately that we need to keep you guys on track on and updated with. I'm sure that you guys have been watching at home. A lot of soccer has been going on. The Confederation Cup has came to a conclusion. It was a lopsided game victory by one team over the other, but that doesn't mean that the other team won't be back for a World Cup to, dominate like they did in previous years. We're going to let you guys know what happened with that. We're also going to be covering you guys on the NBA draft, let you guys know the winners, the losers of what happened during the draft, the surprise number one pick that no one really saw coming, and the blockbuster trade that happened during the draft between the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics that sent two future Hall of Famers over to Brooklyn. So we're going to dissect what happened over there on the east side of the coast. We're also going to be talking about Chris Paul and how he re-signed with the Clippers, what we could expect for the next 5 years of his contract there in Los Angeles. Also, we have some Dwight Howard news. He's checking in with a lot of different teams, and one of them will surprise you guys. He is checking in with the Golden State Warriors. Pictures seen with him and Stephen Curry earlier today practicing at UCLA. So we'll let you guys know where we think he's going to end up. We're also going to be talking about the NFL. Tragedy has struck in the Lloyd family. We had Aaron Hernandez, which has been everywhere lately. He committed murder on another former player. And they're going to let you guys know if we think his career is over, whether he's guilty or not, which he most likely is. And we're going to finish it off with the Spain Confederation Cup. My name is Yama, Hazheer, and I have my two co-hosts with me by my side. I have Massie, Majidi, always here, as well as Tariq, Ahmad, two professional experts, folks. We're going to bring you guys news that you need to know. I'm going to start off today's show with the NBA draft. It happened this past Thursday. There's a lot of surprises, a lot of downfalls in that draft, but the number one surprise of that whole draft was actually the number one pick, Anthony Bennett, Toronto-born player. I know a lot of my Canadian cousins have been telling me about this guy for years, saying that Anthony Bennett, he's a player that you have to watch out for. He's going to be a mess to reckon with. But Chat 4 ranked him number 4, Massie, in the draft, and he went number 1. How a lot of people were surprised, maybe even the city of Cleveland. What do you see with Anthony Bennett? Does this surprise you?
Well, to be quite honest, I haven't really watched much Anthony Bennett highlights or even any games, but recently I've been catching up on his highlights. This guy can play. This guy's 6'8". He has good size, 6'9", whatever, good size, and he was dominating guys over there in Las Vegas. And just an amazing player. He can shoot the jump shot. He can drive in. He can post up. He can dunk on players at will, and he can just an amazing defensive player. And we actually have a clip over here today too with the
Anthony Bennett. And Tariq, what do you think of Anthony Bennett? I mean, maybe he's not the second coming of LeBron over there in Cleveland, but they do have Kyrie Irving. Anthony Bennett, maybe not the number one pick worthy, but well, it's too soon to say. So far, people are saying no. Do you see him doing anything in Cleveland that's gonna be worthy of that number one expectation?
Well, a lot of people didn't expect him to go number 1, and I certainly didn't. But Anthony Bennett is one of those guys that can score. And when you go to the NBA, especially with the undersized that he is, in a way, 6'8", 6'9", he can score. He can shoot the ball from 17, 18 foot. He shot 53% in UNLV, averaged 16.1 points per game and 8.1 rebounds per game. So this is a guy, that Cleveland thought he's good enough to go number 1. And sometimes, you don't really go with the best player that's available. Sometimes you just got to go with the best player that can suit your team. And, we've seen that with the San Antonio Spurs and, other teams that they don't necessarily look for talent. They look for a guy that fits in their system, that can play along, with the system they have. And I think Cleveland thought Anthony Bennett is a perfect fit with Kyrie and Dion Waiters and all the other players they have. And they took him number 1. So it's a little bit of shock. Not really shocking. It's a little bit surprising he went number 1. But other than that, not a big shocking or surprise or anything else.
That was an interesting point that you brought up there, saying that when you have a pick like that, you want to go with the best player available, or no, the best player that fits your need. But when it comes to the number 1 pick, do you really think that it should be the best player that fits your need? Or at the number 1, do you really go for the best available player?
If you're a team that It doesn't matter whether you pick the best player. For example, if for let's say the Orlando Magic, they don't necessarily need a player that fits the system. They need a player that's best available that could build around them. For example, they went Victor Oladipo, which was right there, top 5 talents in the draft. But with the Cleveland Cavaliers, they have Kyrie. He's the face of the franchise. Dion Waiters could score. He's a starting shooting guard, and all of them. Yeah. So they went with the best player that could fit their system. And you could put him in the 4 with Anderson Varejao at the 5, or Tristan Thompson at the 5, and you could really stretch the defense, go outside, shoot jump shots, rebound the ball. He rebounds, and so Cleveland made a right choice. I'm not doubting their choices.
Very good points over there by Tariq. Another big surprise in the NBA draft, not necessarily a draft move, but Jrue Holiday, he got traded from the Philadelphia 76ers to the New Orleans Pelicans, folks. Yes, they have changed their names, just like David Stern has also retired from the NBA after 30 years. Give a shout out to him. I know Hakeem Olajuwon came over there after the draft and shook his hand just like he did back in 1984. Moving back on to Jrue Holiday and the Pelicans. Pelicans traded Nerlens Noel, who a lot of people were surprised fell down that far to the draft. He was number 5 or 6, and Cody Zeller was picked before him, and other players, and people are surprised as that as well. But
vintage
Michael Jordan pick with Adam Morrison, and now over here with Cody Zeller. But Massie, what do you think about Jrue Holiday? I mean, Jrue is starting to become a top 5 point guard in the league. He was really becoming the face of the franchise in Philadelphia. They haven't seen a guy that can score like that or shoot like that or pass like that since Allen Iverson back in the early 2000s, and now traded him away, got a rookie. And they already have Bynum. Why would they trade for a center in this case?
Well, Bynum was actually he was getting hurt, so I don't see him coming back with that knee. And they were just looking to make moves and looking to get a big man, Nerlens Noel. And Michael Carter-Williams from Syracuse is an amazing player they picked up. And they still have Evan Turner too. But looking at Jrue Holiday, he's gonna be fitting in right there with Eric Gordon, Anthony Davis, and they have a good group of young players over there. And I think it was a good move by New Orleans, amazing move by New Orleans. And I mean, the Sixers are going to be good, and maybe in the 2 to 3 years, and they have some good young talent there.
Depends on how Noel pans out. What do you think, Tariq? Same question goes to you. Jrue Holiday, Noel, who wins the trade, and why did it happen?
Who wins the trade?
Obviously,
it's the New Orleans Pelicans. I mean, they got a top 10 point guard. Some argue top 5. He's a really good point guard. He knows how to score. He D's up. And you put him alongside Eric Gordon and Anthony Davis. New Orleans Pelicans, they're young and they're coming. They're not going to make the playoffs this year or next year, but they're getting better. I can see it. The GM, they're making a move to get their future straight. And for the Philadelphia, I think, I think they realized that when they made the trade for Andrew Bynum, they messed up. He's not going to play. Even if he does play, he's not going to play a full 82 season. He's an injury-prone player. So what they did is, let's just start over. Trade Jrue Holiday. Let's bring in a young Nerlens Noel that has future, and then go for Andrew Wiggins, coming out next year in the draft. And I don't know, the Philadelphia, I don't know what they're thinking, but I think that's the case. They know they messed up, so they gotta do something now.
And they gave up on Jrue Holiday. You can't really build your team around Andrew Bynum. I mean, this guy did skip a practice once to play a video game before under Phil Jackson. We all know they called him out for that. Kobe called him out several different times. So it'll be interesting to see what Philadelphia is gonna do after this weird move. But it's interesting how you guys are giving Noel no credit. Well, little credit, but then again, there's Jrue Holiday, who has established himself as one of the premier point guards in this NBA. Moving on to, continue with the draft. Back aside from trades, it was a really good draft. Maybe not the top. I know next year a lot of people are counting on Andrew Wiggins and other players to come out, guys. And Massie, who won the draft? Who was your surprise of the draft? I mean, who won the draft? As in, who had the best picks, who had better picks than people expected, and so forth.
I think as of building their team for the next year, I believe the Nets did a great job. But the Celtics these guys are actually setting themselves up to be a really good playoff team in the upcoming years. They have many first-round picks in the next 5 years. They're about eight first-round picks in the next 5 years?
They have about 50% of the picks.
Yeah. So and they pulled players like Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries that could help Rondo maybe to pull him in that 8 spot.
And even more better about that whole Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries thing is they're going to be expiring contracts soon.
Yeah.
So it's going to free up a lot of cap space for them to potentially sign more free agents in the draft.
And that's what's going to keep Rondo there too.
Exactly.
Knowing that there's this great.
I actually disagree with that because I think we saw Boston making a move last year. They almost who they played, they got out. But anyways, I forgot the team. But Boston, I thought they were in a situation where you just saw Boston collapse right in front of your eyes, and they traded Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce to Brooklyn, and it looks like Rondo. They right now they're discussing of a trade with the Dallas Mavericks that will send Rondo there. And Boston just building for the future. They knew their players are getting old, especially the big two with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. They were getting old, so they traded them away for picks. And it looks like they're going to buy Gerald Wallace next year. Chris Humphries does not matter. He's not going to help, and Rondo's going to leave. So Boston collapsed right in front of our eyes. For Brooklyn, they made a smart trade. They could still play. The 2 future Hall of Famers could definitely help your team win, especially in the East. There's not a lot of good teams. So,
and looking at this Brooklyn lineup, they have Darren Williams as the one, have Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce, and then not to forget they have Kevin Garnett, veteran leader, and then Brook Lopez. Last but definitely not least, we know what he's capable of. And it's always not bad having a former 6th man of the year once again as your 6th man, Jason Terry. Where do you guys see Brooklyn going next season? I know it's a little early to tell. Jason Kidd, coach of the team. A little weird having Jason Kidd coaching Kevin Garnett, who's about a year different, came in the league about the same time. Tariq, where do you see Brooklyn ending up next year? What expectations do you have for them? Or are they going to disappoint?
If they don't win the final, I don't know. It depends on who, what their expectations are. But for me, I think the farthest they could go is probably Eastern Conference Finals, and then lose to the Miami Heat or Chicago Bulls, whoever makes the conference finals. But on the paper, they look good. And just like the Miami Heat, the first year when they came together, they looked good, and they went all the way to the NBA Finals, but they were defeated by the Dallas Mavericks. I won't be surprised if the Brooklyn Nets go to the finals, but I have them. The far they go, I think is Eastern Conference Finals. They still got to improve in their bench. They only have Jason Terry and Marshawn Brooks. Andre Blash might come back. Not sure about that, but I think second round Eastern Conference Finals the farthest they go next year.
And Massie, what do you think about the trade as well? I know you touched up a little bit about what it did for Boston, but what do you think it does to Brooklyn with that all-star lineup, starting 5 that they have, and how far do you think they're gonna go?
I think all these teams are making great moves to build superstar teams, but I don't see Brooklyn making it past the second round. Not past the second round. There's teams like the Pacers. There's teams, of course, you touched on the Bulls, and I believe they're amazing teams that have been together for about 3 to 4 years, and Brooklyn is just a brand new team. So I definitely don't see them making it past the second round. If they run into the Pacers, the Heat, or it's a likely chance of them running into the Bulls. So I don't see them making. I see them getting the 5th seed maybe, and just losing out in the second round. I honestly don't. I don't see them winning.
You don't think they have enough talent or experience?
I don't think they have enough. They're a brand new team. You know how you've seen the superstar teams that just came together in the first year. When's the last time you saw a team come together that didn't have LeBron make it to the final?
Last time KG and Pierce came together with the Boston Celtics, they were able to win a championship.
But they were young
the first year. Yeah. But a lot of people bring in the old, the age, everything. But in the playoffs, especially in the playoffs, you win with experience. I mean, look at the Miami Heat. Yeah. Half of the games they won is because of the experience. They were there in the fourth quarter. They were good down the stretch, and that's why I think with the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, they bring that experience. And you have Darren Williams, Brook Lopez, young enough to win a series by themselves.
Exactly.
Forget about the future Hall of Famers. So for the Brooklyn Nets, it's all about just get that bench strength a little higher, get some talent in the bench, and I'm not worried about the starting lineup. They probably have maybe behind the Heat, who won the championship, the second best starting lineup in the league.
You see it being the Bulls? Or the Pacers?
Not
In
when
the
Derrick
series?
goes healthy. Not when Derrick goes healthy.
No,
Pacers
Derrick goes
maybe because Pacers don't have enough scoring unless they add somebody.
Granger coming back.
But still, I gotta see how he plays.
Yeah.
You know, after injury. But the Pacers, just like they lost to the Heat, they don't have enough scoring to beat a team in a 7-game series unless they get somebody to score. But I'll take Brooklyn over Indiana.
And in Brooklyn, they also have Joe Johnson, who's choked so many times in the playoffs. But now they have Paul Pierce, who's there that could step up and take the big shots. If they need a crucial assist in that last second, they could even take their coach, Jason Kidd, onto the court to play a little bit for them. Moving on a little bit to the NBA, over to the NBA draft. It was, like I said, a pretty solid draft. Not the best, not the worst. Who do you guys have as winning Rookie of the Year? Massie, who has it? Is it going to be Bennett?
I'll say Trey Burke.
Trey Burke it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much in Utah right now, and I believe he's just gonna take over, and he's not gonna take over necessarily, but Utah is gonna count on him to put up some points right now, and teams like the Cavaliers, I don't see Anthony Bennett taking that star position.
No, definitely not. And look at how you mentioned Utah, who also has Shabazz Muhammad. They picked him up, who's also another really good player.
Yeah,
it's going to be a fun team to watch. And Chamber for you as well, Tariq?
He obviously is on my list. I mean, the dude averaged 18 points a game, 6.7 assists per game in college.
And you completely teared it up during the final
tournament run.
Yeah,
I have Otto Porter Jr. I know a lot of people laugh at me,
he's good.
but I think he's in a good system. He's playing with John Wall. He's playing with Bradley Beal. He's a small forward that D's up, rebounds the game, and he has I don't know, there's something about him that he looks ready to me. He's gonna go in there, help Washington win, maybe not playoffs, but I think he's my future Rookie of the Year.
John Wall too. He's gonna help him out.
He's playing with the perfect point guard, and
John Wall is killing it recently as well. And I have Trey Burke winning it as well. I know Massie showed me some crazy highlights, so definitely got to watch out for him.
Yeah.
We have a couple highlights now from Chris Paul, who has signed a $107 million extension with the Los Angeles Clippers over 5 years. We're going to talk a little bit about Chris Paul and what we expect him to do. I know everyone's talking about Dwight Howard right now and saying that he's going to be the free agent to watch for in the summer. I know it's not fair to Chris Paul just because he's staying loyal to the team that he picked up with. But guys, I read this the other day and thought about it a little bit. Chris Paul, he's had no playoff success when you think about it. A lot of people bash on Carmelo's and the T-Max back in the day. With Chris Paul, people don't realize this guy hasn't really gone far in the league, and they're saying he doesn't really have a team behind him. Last year, Los Angeles Clippers, top 3 team in the West, they had the potential to go far. They got swept by the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. Chris Paul struggling, Tariq. And what does this extension say about the team? What does it say about Chris Paul? Is he worth that money? Overpaid, underpaid? And where do you see the Clippers going in 5 years with Chris Paul as their leading man? Championship? No championship.
Maybe one. That's a maybe one. But after losing to the Memphis Grizzlies last year in the playoffs was it first round? Yeah, it was in the first round. I didn't think he's gonna stay. I don't think they have enough talent to win not necessarily talent, but they don't have the right pieces. The championship pieces to win the NBA championship. But he did stay, and I'm not surprised. 5 years, $107 million. And Doc Rivers, I think, is the reason why he stayed. He gets a great coach. Now he doesn't have to rely, because what Vinny Del Negro did with him is basically in the fourth quarter put the ball in his hand and forget to run the offense. And with Doc Rivers, we've seen him in Boston. He knows how to make an offense run smoothly with their point guard,
especially in the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter. So it looked like I'm guessing now with the Doc Rivers, Chris Paul feels like the pressure is not on him anymore. He's going to improve the team. Obviously, Doc Rivers knows how to play point guard with the point guards. He was once a point guard in Atlanta Hawks. And I think Clippers, I don't know, man. There's a lot of good teams in the West. I don't know if they could win a championship with this team.
It's tough, especially as a Warrior fan. If you get Dwight, it's a wrap. But Massie, where do you see Chris Paul and the Clippers going within the 5 years championship or no?
There's a lot of people doubting Doc Rivers if he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, of course he's a Hall of Famer, but they're doubting if he was one of the best coaches of all time. He only got, one ring over there in Boston. So
overrated.
Yeah, I wouldn't say overrated. I think he's gonna come into the Clippers, and I want to see if he can make Blake Griffin to that post warrior. You know, that guy that can post up and get you that two that you need in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, that automatic two. So we'll see if he can make Blake Griffin into that player. See how he can get players like Eric Bledsoe into the All-Star game maybe in a couple years. And I think it was a good move by getting Doc Rivers. And Chris Paul is definitely going to have one of the best seasons he's had in a long time.
And once again, Doc Rivers is a really good player as coach. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on Los Angeles this next season, and not the Lakers team this time. We're gonna move on to the NFL tragedy once again happening with Aaron Hernandez. Wondering if his career is over, seeing what's gonna happen with him.
He's gonna sit down with Kobe in the couch and enjoy the games now.
Sit down with Kobe now because
forgot to call Ray Lewis.
Looks like O.J. Simpson. Aaron Hernandez next jersey for next season might be black and white, and it's not gonna be really similar to any team in the NFL.
I thought you said he's on the Raiders.
It's black and silver, bro.
They're actually going to break him out and put him on the team.
If only Al Davis was here, rest in peace.
Yeah.
But Aaron Hernandez getting, I wouldn't say framed, but investigated for murdering and killing his former friend Odin Lloyd over some controversy that happened between him and some other people. He had it was a really interesting timeline and frame of events that happened between Aaron Hernandez and this whole situation. He had two of his friends call Odin Lloyd, actually travel in their car at 3 a.m. And during the same time, I believe Odin was texting his sister, letting her know that he's with Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez and his two buddies going to, what was it, near like a really hidden region near his house in Massachusetts. They went over there, did some dirty work, killed the body of Odin Lloyd, and then after that, drove back to his home a mile away. I mean, all the evidence, guys, shows that Aaron Hernandez did it, but it did the same happen with Ray Lewis. A lot of evidence towards him. Didn't get locked up. O.J. Simpson, once again, he didn't get locked up as well. Aaron Hernandez, he has had a criminal record against him and still does today. So we'll see what happens with him. Do you guys? He had a really good season for the Patriots recently. 2011, he had a lot of career highs. Tariq, is his career over?
Yeah, his career is over.
No doubt.
He killed a guy, first of all. Second, he's charged for another 5 gun-related charges, I think. And then now the story coming out that he was in. The cops are guessing that he's involved in another murder case that happened last year in 2011. But it doesn't matter. I think he will end up going to jail, and after that, the teams are not going to give him a chance play again. You've seen players in the past do that with Plexico Borges and Michael Vick and all that. Once they make a mistake outside of the football field, their career is almost done. And but I don't know. It kind of makes me mad what Aaron Hernandez is doing, because he had a future, right? Sometimes you don't know your future. You let God control your future, but he knew his future. He was getting a contract. I think he signed a contract last year, 4 years, $40 million contract, something like that. Rob Gronkowski, he was going down with the injury, so he was the number 1 tight end, quote unquote receiver, and now he messes up with his career with the murder case. I don't know where it will go, and it's sad when athletes do this, when they don't know what they have in stake. He had a set career. He was in a perfect football team. You play with one of the greatest coaches, one of the greatest quarterbacks, and now he's probably, I don't know. There's a meme, I don't know you guys see. He goes into jail as tight end, comes out as a receiver. I don't want to touch on that, what that means, but yeah, that's what he's basically doing right now.
It's really interesting. It's sad because he left behind a little infant of a kid, daughter that's not gonna know what really happened to her dad. And moving on from this guy Aaron Hernandez, who I guess isn't really worth too much of our time today. We're gonna talk a little bit more about soccer. The Confederation Cup is over, ladies and gentlemen. We have a winner. Brazil was crowned on Sunday. They beat Spain 3-0, shut them out. Fred had 2 goals. Neymar Jr. had a goal himself. Neymar Jr. actually won the Golden Ball Award, which was equivalent to the MVP in any other sport. This guy's 21 years old, plays really good. He plays for a couple teams over there, and He's been killing it in
He
Brazil.
just got picked up by Barcelona.
Exactly,
They
but
paid him fat, so.
paying him big, but
Like
he has to wait 10 days because he's actually getting his tonsils out. So
Yeah.
a little minor injury for him until he's back over there in Barcelona. I'm gonna kill it for them. And guys, what did you think about the game, Massie, Spain, Brazil? It's a lopsided game. What do you think about that game, and who do you expect to win in the World Cup, which is coming up really soon?
Well, Spain, you saw in the past years, they're a team that just picks teams apart. And they pass that ball, they pass the ball, and I don't think they've played a team not only as athletic but as talented with the ball as Brazil. Brazil has players like Neymar, like Fred, that can just control the ball. And as you can see, this game is really chippy. It was really chippy from the start. These guys knew it was on stake. It was the country's pride over there in Brazil and Spain. So. Neymar just was crazy athletic. You couldn't even no one could shadow him over there on the field, and he was just dropping dimes all over the place. So yeah, I mean Brazil just athletically just dominated Spain, and I don't see Spain winning if they run into Brazil again, just because of athleticism, and I don't see Neymar Jr. getting hurt anytime soon. This is soccer, so
Don't
Knock on wood.
yeah, knock on wood. So hope these tables are wood. Or else I'll be failing on a prediction next time.
And same question goes to you, Tariq. Not the most exciting game if you're a fan of Spain, but Brazil killed it. Fred dominant here. Fred won the silver boot. Fernando Torres from Spain actually won the golden boot. They both had 5 goals. The only difference, guys, from the golden boot to the silver boot, Fernando Torres won it because he played 5 less minutes than Fred, so his efficiency was a little bit higher.
These goals are crazy.
That's the smallest thing that stopped it. And Tariq, what do you think? What do you think about that game? And who do you think is gonna win the World Cup in 2014?
Remember the times when Spain looked unbeatable?
Yeah,
Like they just looked like no one's gonna
Brazil's
touch them.
back.
Yeah, no one's gonna beat it. Well, I don't know if Brazil's back, but Spain, they look tired. They look physically old. They look, I don't know. It looked like they're just not ready. They're not ready. Brazil scored 3 goals in 1 half against the Spain.
the best team in the world.
Yeah, the best team in the world. That
Yeah.
doesn't make those little mistakes. That doesn't allows team to score that easily. And we had 1 goal in 2 minutes, the other goal in 44 minutes, the other goal in 46 minutes. So Spain just looked tired. They looked old. Brazil on the other hand, they looked energized. They were ready to get revenge from Brazil. They were playing at home in Brazil, in their country, Brazil, and they just played with more pressure. They played with better intensity, and they won. They deserved a 3-0 win. And Neymar, oh my Lord,
Barcelona's
Jesus,
gonna love him.
God, whatever you call, Neymar's good. There was,
Yeah.
I remember reading articles last year about him where people said he's overrated. He's not as good. He's this. He's that. Guess what? Shut up.
Look what a year did.
Neymar is killing it.
Yeah, just shut up. He had 4 goals, 2 assists in this whole tournament. Killed the Spain with his speed. Well, the entire Brazil killed the Spain, but most of the time Neymar just killed them. And I'm not a big fan of Brazil, but they'll be good in the World Cup. But I still have Spain winning the World Cup.
Craziest part about Neymar is that a lot of people in the NBA get surprised and they get scared because LeBron is only 26, Durant's 24. People in the MLB get scared because Buster Posey is also another young player in the mid-20s. But guys, Neymar Jr. is still 21 years old.
Let me touch on something really quick. Remember that Brazil team about 8 years ago? It was Ronaldinho and Ronaldo.
Killing it.
I believe if you really look at the team as a whole, and you look at Ronaldinho and look at Neymar and look at the similarities and the athleticism they play with, and just look at the similarities and look at Ronaldo and Fred, and just look at how they play. Like if you watch tapes of Ronaldo and Fred, they're both at the right time at the right place at the right time.
The rebounds.
And Neymar makes that place. I mean, Neymar and Ronaldinho open those spots for players like Fred and Ronaldo. So I see them making splashes like that Brazil team 8 years ago, or what is it, 10 years ago?
It was vintage, just back when
in
we were kids, just getting into soccer. And like he said, Neymar killing it. Like he said, Neymar. People were saying he's overrated. You just need to stop that talk right now because Neymar, been killing it. 21 years old,
He's
ladies
got
and
no
gentlemen.
words.
He has the potential to be one of the greatest of all time.
He's gonna be playing next to Messi.
He's gonna be playing next to Messi. That's gonna be a team. Barcelona,
good.
the bandwagon is just gonna get even bigger and bigger because Real Madrid could say goodbye because a lot of people are gonna be on Barcelona.
Yeah. And it looks like Ronaldo's contract's done this year, and it looks like he'll be going back to Manchester. So Barcelona is ready to win, and they got the talent. They got Messi. They got Neymar. And all the other players, the whole Spain team in Barcelona.
Ronaldo and Rooney, both players might be leaving their teams. There's a whole bunch of money issues going on in soccer. And we were talking about this earlier before the show. The soccer players, they get paid a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening in the soccer.
Ronaldo's wallet's just gonna get bigger. I mean, that's the outcome of this.
Let's see if you get that H&M underwear deal like David Beckham did. Be interesting to see what happens over there. And, thank you guys for watching once again. This is I'm gonna wrap it up. So real quick before you go, I did get a phone alert on my phone. The San Francisco Giants did lose again, 8-1 to the Cincinnati Reds. Not even just worth a little mention on our show, but it looks
what
like
about the A's.
A's no mention yet, but they've been killing it.
Yeah, they've been
Giants, I think the years are done.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to all my Laker fans.
Yeah, the Lakers are done. So.
Lakers are done. Their future's gone. Kobe.
Dwight to the Warriors. Got my Dwight playoff beard going over here. He's gonna come over to the Bay.
Or maybe Houston.
Hopefully,
either
Houston
team
is more
either team's
likely.
gonna be in that second to third seed.
Hopefully, he comes over to the Bay. We have him on our show. And,
I'll hit up Dwight. I'll say.
I'll hit up Dwight on Twitter.
We're
We're gonna have him over on our show. Tariq over here with the Russell Westbrook glasses. Hopefully, we see that back again next week. Thank you guys for watching our show, Iman Sports, brought to you by Iman TV. My name is Yama, Hazheer.
Shout out to my Lakers.
Tariq Ahmad, Laker hater number 1, Massie, Pocket Swear Swag. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum.